What's up, everybody? Welcome to Townsend 505. Me and Jason have finally finished the Kinks. We reviewed all 24 of their albums. Crazy. So many albums in their discography. So much to review. We have finished it now. How are you doing this afternoon, Jason?
Uh, Good. I'm recovering from 3 days of work and uh, three night shifts, 12-hour night shifts. Pretty tiring, but, so I'm glad to have a day off.
Of course. Well, of course, this is the second time me and Jason have done a retrospective on an artist we deep dive because this was a big discography to go through. So
Yeah,
yeah, we're don't worry, Townsend 505 fans. We're gonna do a lot more shorter series after
yeah,
my month break. We'll do like Hermits, Jim Croce, like artists or solo artists with like a shorter career association. I
yeah.
like to
I
hit.
hope we do the association. That'd be a fun one.
Uh, but yeah, like smaller artists, and then we'll hit the big one, which is John Denver. Uh, but of course, before we get to our top 25, yes, not top 10, we're doing top 25 because their discography is so big and they have
Yeah,
so many songs. We have to do a top 25. We'll give our retrospective, or if you read the title, our Kinktrospective. Uh, I'll let Jason go first. So basically, what Jason will do is he'll talk about his final, like, just overall thoughts about the Kinks in general, what he thought about the band, what he thought before the band started, just like what he thought about them before the series, after the series, what they did right, things they should have never done, just what they did wrong, and just like a overview of this series. So I'll let you take it away now, Jason.
yeah. So of course I'm new to the series, the Kinks. Um, I know of the Kinks because of they had a couple pretty big hit songs in the '60s period, and so I grew up listening to oldies stations, so I knew of the Kinks because of "You Really Got Me," "All Day and All Night." Those were two big songs I remember a lot on the radio. That are always thought was really good rock songs. Besides that, I didn't know anything about their discography or their what kind of journey that they went on. I had no idea. So it was a bit surprising going through it, like how how different it is than a lot of discographies. I feel like it went through so many different eras and varieties and different genres. I mean, they really did a lot, and I mean, 24 albums in like 30 years or whatever span. And they're very, I want to say, like they're maybe the most prolific British invasion band just about that I've gone through. The only other band that I've gone through this many albums, I think, is Rolling Stones. I did a deep dive on the Rolling Stones, which was 24. I did their 24 UK albums. But their 24th album just came out like a year ago. So I mean, they're just catching up to the Kinks like a year ago. So they're not even as prolific as the Kinks were. They were putting out album after album, like almost every year. It feels like they were putting out albums. So I mean, pretty impressive what they were able to put out because the Beatles only put out roughly 12 UK albums. The Who put out 13 total, I guess. Um, Something like that. 12, 13.
12 albums if you're not counting Magic Bus.
12. So they put out about 12 albums, and 10 of them really were in that. I mean, the last two came out recently, kind of somewhat recently. So it's really only about 10 albums, and then recently they put out two more. Um, so yeah, you go down the line of British invasion bands, the Hollies, whatever. Nobody put out 24 albums. Uh, Pretty crazy. Like, so that was fun. Like, because when I went to the Kinks, I heard people say Kinks are really good. They're some of their favorite bands. The Green Preservation Society is the one I hear about all the time. Kinks fans love that album. It's their favorite album. That's the one I kept hearing about. And I'm like, okay, I need to listen to Preservation, Village Green Preservation Society, whatever. Um, and then we were like doing our uh, um, essential albums of the '60s when our first thing that we did as a group, kind of on my channel. Me, Nick, Scott, and Bri we put together 50 albums of the '60s that we thought were like the big album or the albums everybody should listen to. Anyways, and Nick put out like 4 albums, I think, from something like that from the Kinks. I think put Something Else, Face to Face, Village Green Preservation Society, and Arthur, I believe.
I put I put you're actually I put Something Else, Village Green, Arthur, and Lola.
Yeah, then you put Lola recently on our last essential albums list. So I had never heard a lot of those albums. When Nick mentioned Arthur or the Decline or Fall of the British Empire, I'm like, what? What are you talking about? I'm like, that's the name of an album, and I'm just gonna call it Arthur. I remember I was like, I'm just gonna call this one Arthur because I'm not saying the whole line. And then when I found out, I've heard of Lola the song. I was like, okay, I know that's a big hit song on the radio, which is so much different than their others. Than You Really Got Me. So it's like, wow. So You Really Got Me is like this cool, like kind of hard rock, early, mid '60s or really kind of heavy rock song for the time period. And so I'm thinking Kinks are just this hard rock band, and then you hear Lola, and it's like, okay, this is different than that. Like, so I knew like they must have changed up a little bit. But then you mentioned Lola versus the Power Man and the Money Go Round or whatever, part 1. I'm like, what? Like, I never knew the album called. I just thought it was called Lola. And you're like, this whole thing. And so then I know you were big on Village Green, Arthur. I mean, Face to Face, Lola, like that period. Like you're like when you did like your top albums, those were like way high in your list. So I'm like, holy cow! Like Nick really likes the Kinks. I never heard any of it. So this is all new to me. I was like, okay, I never heard of any of those albums really, or didn't know anything about them, and so I was intrigued. I was like, I really need to listen to Kinks. So when Nick said, hey, we need to do another series because we did Simon and Garfunkel, and he asked me what bands I would like to do, and I mentioned the Kinks because I knew he was a Kinks fan because we talked about the Kinks, and I was like, well, I said Nick's a Kinks fan, and I'd like to listen to more Kinks. I like to hear why everybody likes the Kinks, and so I mentioned that to Nick. I was like how about the Kinks? Like I like to, I'm thinking in my mind there's like 10 Kinks albums or something like that. Like I had no idea there's 24, and then Nick's like, oh, there's 24. I'm like, oh, well, okay. I was like, I still want to hear them, but that was more than I expected.
Because I gave you the option between the Who and the Kinks because I'm like, yeah, Jason knows all the Kinks albums. You probably pick the Kinks, but you're like, no, I want to do the Kinks. I'm like, that. I was really happy when you said that because I'm like, you were really interested in the Kinks. So
yeah, I really wanted to hear them, see what was going on with the Kinks and why everybody liked them so much. Curiosity, I guess, and so that's and I said, yeah, let's go ahead and do 24 albums of the Kinks. Because in my mind, I thought, oh, they probably had like the big period. I was guessing it was probably their '60s. That's what I think about. When I think about the Kinks, I think about the '60s. Like that's the British Invasion, So I'm thinking, oh, they probably made, all these albums in the '60s and then a couple in the '70s, and that was it. It was like no, they made a bunch in the '80s and even all the way into '93 when their last one, whatever. So I'm like, oh, okay. Like, in fact, '70s maybe their biggest period. I think they made a bunch of '70s albums, which I had no idea. So it was a real journey it was kind of a crazy journey going through it and going, all right, here's the early stuff. Yeah, this is kind of rough, doing cover songs. The production's not very good, but you got some good stuff here. There's some catchy music, some catchy rock stuff, and then they go into this whole concept album ideas with Village Green, Arthur, and stuff like that. And I thought that was pretty intriguing. I thought, oh, okay, it's kind of interesting, this whole concept idea. Ray Davis is kind of coming up with these big idea stuff, and I just assumed after Lola, the album's going to get I thought Lola's going to be like the last good album, then everything's going to go downhill. Because I don't know, I just figured that was their peak period. And I'm like, most time bands have this peak period and then they go downhill, you know. So I just assumed, oh, bands love doing that. They love going past they love hitting the peak and then they love going past it and going downhill and then make you go, why did you keep going? Like Rush, I always think Rush, Rush was at this really great period and then they went downhill. For me, I not enjoy the last several albums, but yeah. And then I was so pleasantly surprised when I got to everybody knows it's a showbiz, and I was like, this is the best album so far. Like, and I probably surprised Nick. I'm like, this is like my favorite album right now. Like I'm shocked. Like I wasn't expecting another good album. Uh, and then we get into the theatrical period, which is, I mean, man, that was. And you told me that theatrical period was like the worst period, and so I kind of went into it going, okay, Nick, tell me this is a bad. And yeah, it was a weird period. I don't get what was going on there. And it's so crazy that happened. There's 4 albums that just, especially those first 3 albums, just totally different from everything they've done before, and trying to tell a whole story through song and not really, I don't know, it didn't work. So that was a rough time going through those. And then we come out of that and they have another great period, which I was shocked. I was like, oh, I'm sure after this, their albums just aren't never going to match up, you know. But then I get to Sleepwalker. I'm like, oh, this is like their best album. I'm like, this is great. And then, you know, even like State of Confusion, Word of Mouth, I thought were pretty darn good. And Think Visual, I thought was great. And so I'm like, I'm really shocked how much I enjoyed the last, kind of towards the later period. I assumed everything good was in their early period, but no, I think some of my favorite stuff is their late period. So, I mean, it's very fascinating. And you told me that they had some popular albums later on, and I didn't believe you. But then I was like, oh no, these are actually quite good. These later albums. So it's like, wow, like that's pretty impressive for a band to go that long and get better. Like I just never happens. I feel like. Anyways, I'm talking a lot, but just that was my journey going through these albums. Yeah, definitely. There's lots of really great albums. I really enjoyed going through the albums. Even going through the bad ones was interesting, but it was definitely rewarding to get through Sleepwalker. I mean, oh my gosh, I never knew that existed. Now I'm like, this is like one of my favorite albums now. So that's always cool when you discover a new album for the first time and go, oh my gosh, this is like an album I never would have thought would be great, and it is. And so a lot of great discoveries through this discography, I think. You know, if you have 24 albums, they're not all going to be great. No one can put out 24 great albums, but still, they put out a lot of really good albums. So overall, my appreciation for the band went way up after listening to this discography. So I'm really glad I went through it.
Yeah, that was great. For me, my thoughts going into this discography, of course, I knew them. Jason went on how I was the biggest Kinks fan in our group before going into the series. Still am the biggest Kinks fan in our group.
Yeah.
I mean, I've known them for so long now. I've known them around the time when I became a big Beatle fan, which was in 9th grade. So I've known them. I wasn't like a big fan of theirs in 9th grade, but first time I heard them was in 9th grade when I first heard All Day on All the Nights. Then I looked into them and like, you know, Kinks. I heard they're like this big band one of the big bands of the 60s. I heard like a couple of hits and I was impressed. But for some reason I didn't think to deep dive them until like 10th grade, which this was like around the time when The Who and Queen became my 2 favorite bands. And as you can tell from now, they still are my 2 favorite bands. So I don't think that'll ever change. And I got into them after I got into The Who, and I'm like, you know, they kind of came around the same time as The Who. And I listened to their first 3 albums, Kinks, and King Controversy. I liked it, but for some reason I wasn't as it didn't make me want to go into their discography that much. But then in 11th grade, Village Green, Face to Face, and I was like, I got to get into these albums. And the first album I heard in their big period is Face to Face because I heard Sunny Afternoon on like a playlist, and I'm like, I got to listen to this song. I mean, I love Sunny Afternoon. This is a great song I first discovered, of course, back in 11th grade. I really like Face to Face. I discovered Village Green. I was like, this is a decent album, but I think it's a little overrated. But then, of course, after listening to it a bunch of times, my appreciation, of course, went up to the point where it's like one of the greatest sounds of all time. Arthur, I really liked. Lola, and something else. So like for the longest time, like, and Lola, and of course, I got those first 8 albums. Listened to those first 8 albums constantly, and I didn't really get into their full discography until 12th grade, my senior year of high school, when I'm like, I gotta listen to every album. I did, and well, I was impressed with a lot of the albums in the late 70s, early 80s, and going through the series again made me realize that there was 2 albums that really grew on me after going through the series, which is good, and I'm glad I did. For my retrospective on the series, though, first 3 albums, it's like their blues rock period. I like their blues rock period, but it's not essential to me. King Controversy is definitely the best of the first 3 because you get sprinkles of what their big period would sound like. Of course, Face to Face, Something Else, Village Green, Arthur, Lola versus Power Man. That's the big period. That's to me, the best period. Of course, that's the usual for what most people say. I don't care. I'm gonna be popular today. I'm gonna share my popular opinion. This is the best period of the Kinks. I don't think their albums get quite as good as these 5 albums, in my opinion, of course. I thought Percy was a decent soundtrack. Muscle Hillbillies, of course. Me and Jason are very divisive on that album. Of course, I'm on the side that loves that album. My opinion, of course. Everybody's in Showbiz. Love that album. I think they should have just made it 1 disc, studio disc. I don't think the live disc at all. I still give that album a 10 out of 10 because we don't have to listen to the live disc.
Yeah.
I just view it as a bonus for the listeners. What else? Theatrical period, awful. I think it's the worst period. Still think so. Even going through these albums for the series, I never really quite got them, especially Preservation Act 2 and 1. Soap Opera is pretty good. I don't think it's a bad album. I don't think it's a great album either. It's middle of the road. Everybody's Showbiz again. Schoolboys in Disgrace. Love that album. Very underrated album. I don't think that album gets enough credit because it's in that theatrical period. It's definitely the best of the theatrical period. Then the revival period, of course. Sleepwalker to Stay Confusion. This is like when their commercial peak goes back up again in the US. Lots of great albums. Sleepwalker, State of Confusion, Give the People What They Want, Misfits, Low Budget. These are great albums to me. Really great stuff. I still don't think they're as good as the 5 albums from the late 60s, early 70s, but again, that's just me though. Maybe in the future that'll change, but as of now, that's what I'm thinking right now. And then their last albums like Word of Mouth and Think Visual, those are great albums, especially Think Visual. I listened to that album like 2 times and I was like, I'm not into this, but going into the series and giving that album a fresh pair of ears, I'm like, this album's amazing. I don't know why I threw that album in the side for some reason.
Yeah.
That's like the one album that's the album that really grew on me after going through this series. UK Jive and Phobia should have never existed, in my opinion. There's really good songs on each album. I feel like if they would have taken the best songs from those 2 albums and made a full album of that, man, that's like a great way to end off their discography with. But to me, those last two albums, too much filler for me,
Yeah.
especially it's like
Yeah.
double albums worth of music. We didn't need that.
Mm.
Of course, that's when the disc era was coming in, so
Yeah. Yeah.
you'd expect that. But overall thoughts, love the Kinks a lot. If they had, I mean, I'm not gonna tell you guys my top 15 albums now, but if their 15 best albums were their only 15 albums, they'd be my favorite band of all time. Not even joking you. But there's just too many clunkers. There's too many bad albums, too many mediocre to bad albums for me to consider them to be top 3 bands for me. I mean, the best albums are great, but they have some of their worst albums are really questionable for me. That's my final thought. That's like my overall thoughts on the Kinks.
Yeah.
After the series. Of course, if you're looking at the title, we have a top 25 Kinks songs. So let's get into that. So, Jason, what is your number? Well, so basically, to make these faster, since we're doing a top 25, we'll do 5 at a time until we get to our top 10. So,
okay. So 25 through 21, and then
yes,
you do yours. Okay. All right. Number 25, getting onto the list is "Come Dancing." Yeah. I know this was like kind of a big hit for them. Later, maybe the last hit maybe they had. I believe this was on State of Confusion.
Yeah, it's on State of Confusion.
Yeah, State of Confusion. Anyways, yeah, and I'm kind of like, I'm with everybody. Yeah, this was such a fun song, so catchy. Love that da 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 da. Whatever the overall melody. It's so good. Super catchy. Yeah, so it made it in here. Number 24, I have "Here Comes Yet Another Day," which is the opener to Everybody Knows This Is Showbiz. Very underrated, I guess. I love that album. I have actually 3 songs from that album on my list, and this is the first one I got here. Man, it is so catchy. Great opening up the album. Here comes the dawn. Here comes a new day. It's just like any other day. I don't know. It's like, man, it's so catchy. I love the horns, the like organ that's thrown in there. Man, right away, I'm like, man, I'm loving this album. Number 23 for me is the opener, I believe, for Arthur, which is "Victoria." Another super upbeat, catchy song that really kind of went up my list, just how catchy it is and how it's just so fun to sing along to. That Victoria, Toria. Great way to start that album out as well. Number 22. This is the only song I have off of Schoolboys in Disgrace. Though I really love that album. Yeah, "The Hard Way" is number 22. That was my. I guess I guess if I had to say any honorable mentions, it would be some other songs from that album. Barely missed out my top 25. There's like 4 songs I really love off that album, and I only got this one in, but the other 3 are probably like in my top 30. So the other 3 songs just barely missed out in my top 25. I would love to get more of the songs off that album. I think the album's really cool. I thought this was a really cool, like, to me it sounded like, and I said this in our review, like, this could be a Cars song. Like, if this was on the Cars album, I would be like, oh yeah, this is the Cars. I mean, it had such a new wave sound to it that I thought was really cool and real catchy. And I don't know, I really enjoyed the style. It reminds me of the Cars, which I think is Cars' like first album is so good. Anyway, so I don't know. That's why I kind of really gravitate towards this song on the album as well. Then 21, going back to Arthur. This is my favorite song off of Arthur, and that is Shangri-La, whatever.
Shangri-La.
Yeah, Shangri-La. Yeah, this was the song that really got me on that album. I don't know if it's more of a ballad or I think it builds up, if I remember right. It has a good build to it, and just a really nice melody to it, and it was definitely one of those songs I'm like, this is definitely, going to be. In fact, I thought this might be a top 10 song when I first heard it. I was like, this could be a top 10 song. It's number 21. I love the song. Just so many great songs that I found out afterwards, but still a really great song from them.
That's a great choice. My number 25. I'm gonna agree with Jason on 25. That's gonna be "Come Dancing." Yeah, I said this before, but I knew this was gonna be one. I told everyone this was gonna be one of my big songs from them. This is from their State of Confusion album, and spoiler, this is the only late period Kinks song on my top 25. To me, the reason why this is amongst their 60s, late 60s, early 70s songs is because this sounds like a late 60s, early 70s song. It's like a song about someone looking back to the past. This is very Village Green-esque. This sounds like something that would be on Village Green if it was made in the 80s. And come dancing. Bum, 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 bum. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Always one of my favorites from the Kinks. Number 24, gonna go from a song from Arthur, and that's gonna be "Brainwashed." This is a great song. It's like ba bum ba bum ba bum bum ba bum. It's like this hard rock song. It's like, yes, sir, you're just brainwashed. Always been one of my favorites from this album. Love the guitar playing by Dave Davies, very underrated guitar player. Love it from this album. 23 from their Village Green album. People take pictures of each other. This is the closing track. People take pictures of the summer. Just so no one could think that just so people could think it existed. It's like, I love the sort of quirky nature of this song. It's like, always been one of my favorites from this album. This is the last song on the album. Fun way to end off the album for me. Well, now we get to Arthur, to the opening track. So it's like we get the closing track to the previous album. Then we get the opening to this album. That's gonna be Victoria. I love this song, Victoria, Victoria. This should have been a big hit single for me.
I could see it. Yeah.
This was a single, but it wasn't a hit single. It was unnoticed because this was around the time where the Kinks were not seen as one of the great bands.
Yeah, they weren't selling the U.S. at all at this time. Yeah.
No, it's a shame because this was a high quality song. I love the frantic nature of it. I love how you could hear everyone just having a good time making this song. And yeah, I love this song. Now we get to the next song, number 21, which this is I believe the one and only song from King Controversy. And that's going to be "I'm on an Island." I freaking love this song. I'm on an island. This made my deep cuts list of 65, so goes to show how great this song was.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a fun song. It's like someone basically heartbroken, so he's like on an island, which well, I love the premise of the song, and yeah, it's almost like it kind of has like that Jamaican style to it, which I really like. This is to me one of their most underrated songs. But yeah, that's my 21. I'm on an island.
All right, number 20. This is an earlier hit, or not really hit, earlier song. I forget exactly what. Is this Kinks Controversy or Kind of Kinks somewhere in there?
It's debut album.
Is this on a debut album? Wow, it's such a good song. Just Can't Go to Sleep is the name of the song. And man, this is such a catchy. I don't know if this is a song anybody else talks about, but when I was going through again, I was like, I just can't get the song out of my head. Just can't go to sleep. No, 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 no. Just can't go to sleep. No, no. I mean, oh my gosh, that chorus, so good. I was like, wow, this should be like a big hit song. This would fit right in with this 60s period. On their first album, and it's not their big hit, of course. They got another one that I have later on my list, but I would love to hear this on the radio. If I heard this on the radio, I would have loved the song, but I never heard it on the radio. Just hearing their album, and I was like, man, this is a banger of a song. It's just a song about, can't sleep, can't without you, just can't go to sleep. Saying like, the loved one's not, there, and they're having a hard time sleeping without their loved one there. So it's a nice overall sentiment of a song, and just one of those great 60s catchy rock pop tunes I think was great. um, man, I can't believe it. That was on the debut. Yeah, that's right. I don't give a lot of credit to that debut, but they got two really good songs. I think I got my list. Show you. Number 19. Again, I'm forgetting where this is. This is another earlier.
King Controversy.
This is King Controversy. Yeah, this is. I want to say maybe I don't know if this is my favorite song off that album. Probably is, because I love this song.
I think that, this is the highest song on that album for you.
This is my favorite song on the album. That is Where Have All the Good Times Gone? And I don't know if I remember. I'm sure I did. I don't know if I praised it enough when we did the review, but I'm sure I put it as my. I don't know. I'm sure I put it as my favorite song on the album. I don't know. But going back, I was like, oh my gosh, like this song again, it made my top 20 because I just couldn't stand. I just couldn't. It's just so catchy, and so it kept in my head after I heard it, and I kept singing along to it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is just one of those another super catchy early rock tunes that they had that should have been like a big hit for them. As far as I know, it was. I just wasn't a big radio hit that I ever heard of, but yeah. Where have all the good times gone? Like, I don't know, just the way he sings it, it's so great. Yeah, it's just great, catchy music that I love out of this period. One of my favorites now from them. All right, number 18, another early one after second album, I think.
Yeah, kind of Kinks.
Tired of Waiting for You. Number 18, which I think was kind of a hit for them. It was.
Yeah, it wasn't as big as their two other big hits, which you'll end up talking about those two big hits, but it wasn't as big as those other two big hits.
Yeah, but I remember when we were going through this, and I was like, "Oh, this song sounds so familiar, like I've heard it before." But again, it's so I just love that chorus. It's so tired of waiting for you. Oh, it's so good, like just that chorus, and it's a little more I don't know, I want to say more slower, laid back song, but so catchy, great melody. Yeah, it's another great early tune for them. All right, number 17. This is my favorite song off of Percy, and this is I'm not a big fan of that album, but man, this song is so good, and that is God's Children, which I believe was the opener to Percy. Yeah. And man, this is another just great catchy pop tune. It's a weird song. I'm not sure what's going on. He talks about being machines and or something like that. So it almost sounds like this weird futuristic, like people are machines or something. I don't know. When you look at the lyrics, you're like, what is going on in the song? But we're all God's children. When they get to that chorus, another just absolutely amazing chorus. I'm trying to think of how that goes, but yeah, it's like, yeah, we're all God's children. And I can't remember why he says that, but anyways, it's a weird song kind of, but man, it's so catchy. And I remember when I first heard that album, I was like, man, this song is so good. It might be in my top, whatever. And yeah, going back to it, it's like, yeah, it's still one of my top songs. Not one of their big, well-known songs, or not one of the more conventional songs, but definitely one to check out. God's Children. Off that, I said there's one other song on that album that was really good. There's like two really good songs on the album. But this is my favorite of the two. Then number 16, song called "How Are You." Again, I'm sorry, I forget names of title. Is this what Think Visual?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite off of Think Visual. I don't think it's my favorite. I think I have another song up higher, but I don't know, it's just another one where love the vocals, love the "How are you? How is your life?" Blah, blah, blah. I don't know, it's just that great Kinks sound. Ray Davis is so good. And it's just a song about meeting somebody that you haven't seen in a while and asking them, how are you doing? What's been going on in your life? You know, kind of catching up with somebody. So it's kind of a simple concept, but done very well, I think, lyrically. And I don't know, just the overall melodies are just amazing. The music, it's just one of the songs that really got in my head when I heard it. I was like, man, this isn't even my favorite. I love that album, and it's like this isn't even my favorite song. And I'm like, this song is amazing. It's all the way up here, almost top 15. But yeah, number 16. How are you?
Nice. Well, now to my list. Number 20, I'm going to go with Australia from their Arthur album. So there's kind of like two parts of the song. There's the pop part of it where it's like Australia. It's like moving to Australia. It's like we'll surf like we do in the USA. We'll fly. It's like love the song, and then the song changes like in kind of in the middle, and it's like this big jam session. Uh, this epic jam session, which is really cool to me. This would be my favorite King song, but it does go on for a little too long. The jam session part of it, I love it, but it'd be a lot higher if it wasn't for that. But it's like this great pop song mixed in with this great jam section to close out the first side of Arthur. Really good stuff. Number 19 is the album closer to Arthur, which is Arthur. Arthur was born just a plain, simple man in the plain, simple working class condition. It's like, whoa, I'm pretty sure Dave Davies sings lead vocals on this song. I could be wrong, of course. This is always one of my all-time favorites from this album. In my opinion, I've always enjoyed this song. It's such a great way to end off the album. It's such a fun pop song to end off the album. Number 18, all of my friends were there from the Village Green Preservation Society. This is like a cool waltz song. It's like very, very unusual sounding for a pop song, and of course, I'm all for that. It's like I wish they did more songs like this. Actually, this cool sort of waltz song is like my big day. It was the biggest day of my life. It was the summit of my law career, but I felt so down and I drank too much beer. It's like all of my friends were there. Love this song. My favorite part. It's like I walked in around dressed in a disguise. I wore a mustache and I parted my hair, and I gave the impression that I did not care. But all the embarrassment, all the despair. It's like again, just another what is like what I love about the Kinks. This period of the Kinks is just fun pop songs. That's why I love the Kinks so much in this period. Why it's my favorite period from them, in my opinion. Now we get to the first song on the Something Else album, David Watts, number 17. Of course, this opens the album. It's like fa 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 fa. Wish I could be like David Watts. It's like wish I could be like David Watts. The only Watts I know is Charlotte Watts from the Rolling Stones, but that's just me. Yeah, it's another really cool song on the album.
Yeah, I like that one.
I feel like this should be like a big hit single, but again, the Kinks were practically unnoticed around this time, which is a shame. Number 16, Starstruck from the Village Green Preservation Society album. Like I said, I have my one period of the Kinks I have on my list.
I was gonna say you have a couple of Green Preservation Society already.
Yes. Yeah, Starstruck. Oh man, cause you're starstruck from me. Ba ba da bum ba ba da da. You got these great harmonies. It's like ba ba. I don't really consider Kinks to be a great harmony band, but when they get it right, they really get it right. There's one particular song that's on my top 10 that I'm gonna be talking about. We'll get to it, but harmonies on this is great, in my opinion. It's definitely up there for sure with harmonies, but the great stuff. It's like, baby, you don't know that I'm crazy. Love the song. But yeah, that's my number 16, Starstruck.
All right. Get into my top 15. I start with number 15. I start with Stormy Sky, which is off of Sleepwalker. Uh, it's just how much I like Sleepwalker. This is I got two more songs. This is my third favorite song of the album, and it's already at number 15. So I got three songs in my top 15 off that album. Yeah, this one, oh my gosh, I don't know what this whole album. Just love the vocals, love the melodies, and just love that. It's looking over the stormy skies. Like, oh, that chorus is just so great. It's good harmonies in there. It's just a great. I don't know what do you want to call it. I don't know if they call it a pop song or what, but so catchy. Just a really musically just beautiful, I think. And yeah, just so many good songs on the album. That song really, I was like, man, this could be number one on a lot of albums, but the album's so good, it's number three on that album. But yeah, it still made it to my top 15 favorite songs. Like I said, not a big hit, I don't think, or anything. Like a lot of these songs aren't big hits that I love. I feel like I really love a lot of these non-big hit songs on these albums. Uh, Number 14, we're gonna get to a big hit, one of their big hits, and that is "All Day and All of the Night," which wasn't on an album. It was just a single. Should have been on, I don't know, the first or second album, I'm guessing.
Should have been on the debut.
Should have been on the debut. Man, that would have made the debut even better if you had this and "You Really Got Me" and "You Gotta Go, Can't Go to Sleep." Oh my gosh, that would have been amazing. Obviously, it's got one of the great guitar riffs. It was definitely, for the time period, man, this was like a heavy song, one of the heavier rock songs I've ever heard, which is really cool about the Kinks, that they really were groundbreaking and innovative at the time, uh, amongst all the British invasion stuff. I mean, even more than the Beatles or the Who really hadn't come into play yet, and the Rolling Stones and all that, and they put out this, and uh, man, such a good rock number. Even today, I listen to it, I'm like, man, this is a great rock song. All day and and it's been played so much. I've heard it on so many commercials and movies and stuff. I feel like I've heard it. It's just one of those songs it's everywhere, all over the radio, of course. But man, love his rock vocals. Ray Davis, like, I think I like more of his pop period, but then I hear this and I go, yeah, there's some good rock vocals here on Ray Davis. Um, it's funny, this song, and now I guess I'll talk about the next songs. I feel like they're kind of just, I associate the two together. But number 13 is "You Really Got Me," which was like their first really big hit. I think maybe, I don't know if it was a number one hit, maybe. It was a huge, off that first album. My favorite off of that first album, Kinks. But to me, when I think of the Kinks, I think of these two songs. "You Really Got Me," "All Day, All the Night." Man, that's the two great rock 1-2 punch that they had at that period in the early mid 60s, that really made them famous, really put their name out there as like, wow, this is a great rock band. And I kind of think of them, the two are similar to me. They got these great rock riffs, you know, great choruses, you know, "You really got me, you really got me, girl, you got me going," and whatever. uh, Oh yeah, I love this song a little more because I love the build up. Because as it goes on, we get the "Oh yeah, you really got me," and he gets a little bit, again, great rock vocals from Natives, and I love them singing together in that "You really got me, you really got me." I think he does that, "Oh no," or something like that, and they go into that guitar solo. I would say like these two songs I thought would be a top 10 song for me when I was putting this list together. I thought, oh, these are two like top 10 King songs. So I'm a little surprised when I went through and they kept going down my list. They're still top 15. And I think the only reason why they're not higher on my list is because the production value isn't as good as later on. And musically, it's not as good as the songs above it. I feel like the guitar solos are a little clunky at this time period. I think Dave Davis gets better as a guitar player, and his guitar playing a little smoother, I guess. I don't know, that's the only way I can explain it. And the production value gets better. And so I think the only reason why these are at this time period is just because they would get better at producing, and the sound quality gets better after the first. I would say the first two albums are just weird because you listen to it and I just go, something sounds off about these albums. Like it's just I'm guessing just the time period, and they hadn't perfected, how to make rock albums yet. I don't know if that makes sense, but still though, they're just two amazing rock songs that are definitely still their signature. They're their signature songs, so they have to be in this list for me. Number 12, this is a song that really rose up my list the more I heard it, and it's Out of the Wardrobe, off of Misfits, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was even my favorite song on the album when we first reviewed it, but then since then I've kind of gone, yeah, it's my favorite song. It's just too catchy not to put number one. And again, it's almost a top 10 song for me from them, because it's just so well. The music is just so well arranged, I guess, and and lyrically, it's a fun song, and that's what I love about the Kinks is they have and I'll have a couple songs here actually, where I call it kind of more of the, they have these kind of fun, quirky songs that I really enjoy about them. They, again, they go through all these periods, but there's something funny and quirky about some of their music that you don't get out of even the Rolling Stones or Beatles or the Who necessarily as much, that I really enjoy about them. And Ray Davis' voice just works really well with this type of, I don't know what, something about his voice that works really well with this style of music that he does. But it's a song all about a guy who is a cross-dresser, I guess. I don't know if that's how to say it, but he kind of comes out of the closet a little bit, I guess, as he likes to wear women's clothes. And he's been married. He's married to this, he has a wife. They seem happily married. And now he's like, but inside he's always wanted to wear women's clothing. And then so it's kind of this coming out of, and I just love that when he puts on that dress, he looks like a princess. Oh, the rhyming is so good. Just so catchy, the melody there. And again, the writing is really good on here. The more I listen to that song, I'm like, man, I love how it's like, he's out of the wardrobe and he has no regrets or something like that. And just really great writing from Ray Davis. Number 11, this is another, I call this another fun, quirky song, and it's so catchy. I love it. And that's Ape Man, which is off of the Lola album. Again, if you hear the song, I don't know how you can't love the song when you hear it. I hear reactors. When I see reactors, they love this song too. I'm an ape man. I'm an ape man. I'm an ape man. And again, I love the lyrics. I love that the song's just about he wants to get away from the world, and he wants to live just simple life in the jungles or whatever as an ape man. He doesn't want to worry about nuclear war. I love that. Like, I can't. It's something like I can't stand this world anymore. I don't want to worry about nuclear war or something like that. Again, the rhyming, the lyrics are so good. They fit so together. And then just that chorus with everybody singing together. I'm an ape man. It just gets in your head and you just go, oh my gosh, it's so fun to sing to. And yeah, really missed out my top 10, but man, another really great song from them.
Yeah, it's a great choice. Funny enough, none of the songs from Lola made my top 25.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Well, if we made I wouldn't do top 50 because of how long it would be. But if we did a top 50 list, it would, like, a couple of songs from that album would be on that list. A lot of songs.
Yeah, like Power Man didn't make my list, but I thought that sounds so good.
Oh yeah,
that could be a song that just almost gets into there. And then Top of the Pops is pretty good. Yeah, there's a couple of really good songs off that album.
Power Man and the Money Go Round were fighting to make my 25 spot, but then Come Dancing just shuffleboard through both of them.
Yeah.
It's like, get out of the way. My number 15 is from Arthur. Yeah, I know. Another Arthur album.
That's a good song. I like that song.
Love Driving. I know. I'm pretty sure the guys on Taste Like Music, they didn't like this song. I'm like, I don't get that at all. I mean,
They always say stuff like that. Like,
I mean, there's so much that they say that I don't agree with them, and this I disagree with them a lot.
oh, was
I
it? I was just watching As It Should Be, and like Crystal, I think like was it 8 Man she hated? I think there was one of these songs that she hated. I want to say 8 Man or something like that. And I was like, Crystal, no.
yeah, yeah. I don't get why they didn't like this as not as it should be, but just like music. I definitely would like to see as it should be do a Kinks ranking. I know Paul would agree with me on my top 5
Oh,
albums.
he loves the Kinks. Yeah, they're always in his top albums.
Yeah, and I could see why. I love me and him. We both love the Kinks. At driving, love this song. It's like this fun pop song. I know a lot of people would argue that this doesn't belong on the album
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't really fit the concept. But what's that?
Doesn't fit the concept, you're saying?
It does, but like it doesn't. It like kind of comes out of nowhere, kind of because
Mm-hmm.
it comes after a song about soldiers dying. But I
Yeah,
don't care. This is a fun pop song. This belongs on the album. Who cares? Next song, number 14. Love Me Till the Sun Shines from Something Else by the Kinks. So this is Dave Davies' song actually. This is the B-side. This is also the B-side to Death of a Clown.
okay, yeah.
So technically this was released as a solo single for Dave Davies, the A-side and B-side. So some people might be like, "Oh, this is technically a Dave Davies song." Well, no, it's not. If it's on a Kinks album, it's a Kinks song. So I'm keeping it on the list. So Love Me Till the Sunshine. I mean, you don't have to cook for me. You don't have to laugh with me. You just gotta love me till the
Yeah.
sunshine.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
You don't have to sleep with me. It's like
yeah,
rest me down upon my knees. All you gotta do is love me till the sunshine. Ah, yes,
yeah.
yes. Oh, this song. It's like well, it's like kind of Dave Davies doing a rock song, and I've always loved this song. Uh, yeah, I'm a sucker for this song. I've always loved this song. Number 13 from their Face to Face album, Holiday in Waaki. It's like sailing across the USA. It's like this kind of it's like a Beach Boy esque song. It's like sounds
Yeah.
like something that the Beach Boys would do, and I'm all for it. I thought this
Yeah.
was a great song, a very very good song. I don't have much more to add, but I thought this was a great song. Next song from Village Green. It's gonna be Picture Book. Picture Book.
Great.
It's like this is a fun pop song again. La 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 la. Picture book, bum 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 bum. Picture of you in your birthday suit.
Your birthday suit. Bum, 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 bum,
Bum
bum.
bum 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 bum. Uh, can't get enough of this song. Even though there's no hit songs on here. There's no singles. Well, there technically was, but there's no hit songs on it. This
Right.
is something that a lot of people will go back to. This is like definitely the fan favorite of the album, and I could totally see why. This is a
Yeah.
great song. My last song from my list before we get to our top 10. Most exclusive residence for sale. Bum, 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 bum. This is from Face to. This is my easily the best song on Face to Face, in my opinion. Actually, no, this is my second favorite song from Face to Face. Definitely top 2 for sure. It's like you have to move out or you will sell out. Most exclusive residence for sale.
Yeah.
Ba 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 ba. It's like I'm a sucker for again. All these songs on my top 25 is like what I love about the Kinks. Fun pop music.
Mm.
I mean, technically, the Beatles are on a technical level better than the Kinks. I'll say this about the Beatles, but to me, this is I take this over the Beatles in my opinion. But on a technical level, the Beatles are much better than the Kinks are on this period. I mean, Beatles are doing Tomorrow Never Knows. I'm always sleeping around this time, so
Yeah.
I'll say on a technical level, I'll say the Beatles are better. But
Yeah.
To me, around this time, you can't beat the Kinks around this time. Even the Who, I'd say the Who and the Kinks are making these great pop songs around this time, like Heat Wave by the Who, Happy Jack, Substitutes. Like 66 was a good time to be a Kinks and Who fan. Yeah, it's my number 11, most exclusive residence for sale.
Yeah. I missed my list, and I love that song. It was one of my favorite off that album. All right, so now we do
Top 10.
that time.
Yeah, 10.
All right, number 10 on my list. This is my favorite song off the Think Visual, I believe it is, and that is "Killing Time." Which you don't know the song, it's so good. I just love the backing vocals; are so good. The "Killing Time," oh, so good. Yeah, just a really nice sounding song. Yeah, I loved it the first time I heard it. It was right away. I was like, man, this is like my favorite song on this album. And I think Visual is one of my favorite albums off of their discography. So it had to be in my top 10. It's like, it's my favorite song from one of my favorite albums. Like, yeah, it's got to be up there. And that's why it cracked into my top 10, Killing Time.
Nice. My number 10 is going to be from the last song on their Something Else album. It's going to be Waterloo Sunset. This has to be a top 10 song for everyone. Yes. Anyone who remotely likes the Kinks, this has to be a top 10 Kinks song. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you prefer the 80s Kinks stuff or not. This is, to me, their most, on a technical level, this is their best song. Like I said, on a technical level, perfect harmonies. This is the best harmonies that the Kinks ever had. Like, I'd say they're competing against the Beatles, actually, with great harmonies. That's saying something, because I think the Beatles have much better harmonies than the Kinks do, for the most part. This is like the only song where I'm like, you know what? This is Beatle quality harmonies. This is Holly's level qualities, harmonies. And yeah. And the lyrics is like, it's like Tony meets Julie. Probably butchered that, but this is a great pop song. It's like, sha-la-la, every day I look through my window, sha-la-la, chilly, chilly evening time. This is pop perfection right here. And this is the album closer. It's like album closer. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, man. I mean, in my opinion, this is, to me, their best album closer to any of their albums. Mm-hmm. In my opinion. I mean,
yeah,
I don't think any of their album closers gets remotely close to being this good.
No.
Yeah. Number 10, Waterloo Sunset.
Yeah, good. Awesome. All right, number 9. I don't know if this is the first time we've we've crossed paths on a song.
We had Come Dancing.
Come Dancing. Oh, that's right. We both had it at 25. And Victoria. Never mind. We have Victoria.
Yeah, that as well.
So we've had a couple. But so it's good to get. That's funny. Yeah, we're both in a little bit different on our song choices. But you mentioned this before. I love the song. That's Picture Book at number 9. This is definitely a top 10. Like, I remember the first time hearing this off of the Village Green, and this was definitely my favorite song off that album. And I remember hearing that going, this got to be like a top 10 song. But then I had a bunch of albums to go through, and then after going through all their albums, I came back going, yeah, this is still a top 10 favorite song. I mean, as you mentioned, it's so catchy. I just love it. It's fun. It's just like a song about looking at pictures, all these different pictures, and describing the pictures. It's a very simple kind of concept, but it works so well with that. And it's just that picture book, photos of your mama or something like that, taking pictures of your papa. It's like, it's from such a long time ago. And then I love it. They hit these high notes. Picture book. Like, they get these really high notes with the picture book, and I'm like, wow, this is so catchy. And that guitar, that dun 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 dun, like, and they throw that guitar in there in between. It's so great. It's just a fun lyrically, I love it. It's just so fun, so catchy. Yeah, this is gotta be one of the best songs for me.
Uh,
And it's
yeah.
the only song I have off of Village Green Preservation Society. And there's other really good songs, like the opener is really good. I Billy Missed Out. I forget the second song has someone.
Walter.
Yes, like that's great. The other song's great.
Johnny Thunder.
Yes, Johnny Thunder, Thunder and Lightning. Yeah, and Starstruck. There's some great songs on there. Didn't get in my top 25, but there's still some really good stuff there. I hate that I only have one song off that album on my list, but uh, you've covered some other ones, so
Yeah, I'd say if you want to hear me, I mean, if you want to hear the representation of that album, look at my list.
yeah.
If you want someone to just have a representation of a lot of periods of the Kinks, well, go to
Yeah,
Jason's list. You have
yeah,
basically their blues period, their pop period, which is this song right here. You have their ballad period, which is Percy. You have a theatrical song. You have a revival period song. You have their post revival period stuff. It's like you have everything basically.
yeah. Covered quite a bit of different albums on my list. Yeah,
The only song you don't have is a country song from their Muscle Hillbilly period, but no one's gonna complain about that. It's like, it's like not even I have a song from Muscle Hillbilly. So yeah. Now we get to my number 9, which is gonna be from something else by the Kinks. It's gonna be Tin Soldier Man. I'm a tin soldier man living in a tin soldier land. This is a fun pop song. Again, I mean, I've said this before, but I love their fun pop song. It's
yeah,
I'm a tin soldier man. Yeah, I love when the group goes, oh, it's like this thumping tune that just gets. I've always loved this song. I gotta get Tin Soldier Man on this list. Man, I remember you not being a big fan of the song, but this was always one of my favorites from this album. Yeah, it's my number 9. Number 9. Number 9.
Number 8 for me. It's another early one. You have to remind me where this comes from.
Face to Face.
Face to Face. Again, Face to Face. Man, what a good album. Uh, I got Sunny Afternoon, which is I think a fairly well loved song from the album. Maybe even a hit song or a mild hit. I don't know.
It was a mild hit, just like
Um,
Tired of Waiting for You. It was a
yeah,
mild hit.
I feel like anytime I come to this, I feel like I read a lot of people feel like this is one of the best songs off the album. Like, so it's very well liked by Kinks fans. It seems like, and so I was like, yeah. After hearing it, yeah, it was my favorite song. I believe off that album, and I didn't think it was a top 10 song. And then as I was going through my list, this is another song that just kept going up my list. As I was listening to it, I was like, man, I really love this song. Like I don't remember loving it this much when I first heard it, but then after repeated hearings of the song, I just more and more I was like, man, I just love this overall melody and just love the sunny afternoon or something like that in the summertime. I don't know, just a cool vibe. It's one of those things where it's like I try to think of like how do I analyze the song, and sometimes it's just the vibe is just I love the vibe of the song. It's just something about the overall sound of it. Ray Davis's voice, I love his vocals on here. Is really good, and it's just man one of the songs that just stood with me every time I heard it. I was like, man, it was. I don't know if I want to say it's catchy, but just kept playing in my head, and I kept singing along to it. When I'm walking around the house, I'm like singing randomly. I'll sing a song like this, and I'll be like, "Where'd that come from?" Like I don't know, it just got in my head, and it just wouldn't go away. But yeah, so this definitely was one that I wasn't expecting it to be this high, but man, I love the song "Sunny Afternoon."
That's a great choice. It's kind of like this was kind of like Ray Davies' answer song to Taxman because Taxman was like a song complaining about the taxes, and
Yeah,
Ray Davies was like, "It's not complaining. You're rich enough," kind of. Because he's like you taken. It's like I can't. Hold on, let me pull up the lyrics. But like it's like you've taken everything I got. It's lazing on a Sunday afternoon.
It's Sunday afternoon. Yeah.
Yeah, text me and taking all my dough and left me in my stately home. I can't stay on my yacht. He's taking everything I've got. It's like
Yeah.
he's trying to. I don't think he's targeting just George Harrison, but it's kind of like stop complaining. You know,
Yeah.
you're
So
rich enough.
a little satirical there, I guess. Taxman's a satire type song too. Yeah.
Yeah, like George Harrison's like, I'm gonna write a song about about the taxes, and Ray Davies is making a song about people who are complaining about
Yeah.
taxes.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, that's funny. It works
I
well.
consider it to be the kind of sequel to Taxman, which yeah, I'm glad you have it on your list. Next song on my list, number 8, is Dedicated Follower of Fashion, which is a non-album single. This is a fun song. This should have been on King Controversy, if you're asking me. This would have fit perfectly on that album. I like Milk Cow Blues, but you could have taken that track out. This could have been the opening song to that album.
I agree.
Probably, if that would have been the case, this would be like a King Controversy would be in my top 5 albums, actually. That it would have made that much of a difference. So that would have been great. I love the lyrics, though. It's like, they seek him here, they seek him there. His clothes are loud, but never square. And it will make or break him, so he's got to buy the best, because he's a dedicated follower of fashion. It's like, oh, yes, he is. Oh, yes, he is. Oh, yes, he is. Oh, yes, he is. My favorite lyric is, he thinks he is a flower to be looked at. This is true. It's like the clothes in Britain were outrageous. The mod clothes.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's basically the British hippies, basically, and Ray Davies was basically writing a song about those kind of people, and I love it. It's one of my favorite things one of my favorite songs from that album, and this made my top singles of 65 list as well.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, Dedicated Follower of Fashion.
All right, number 7, got second song off of Everybody Knows the Showbiz. That is Sitting in My Hotel. Man, what an amazing kind of ballad type song. I love the lyrics of this. I love the melody. It's just overall just amazing, wonderful song about a guy kind of feels like kind of talking about, being in a hotel, like being on the road as a rock musician, then having to stay in a hotel. And he's in his hotel room and he's looking out. I love he's looking out the window and looking at the world outside, looking at the world outside, whatever. I'm sitting in my room. I love how and he talks about being like really high. Like he's like, I guess he's in a fancy hotel because he talks about he's like really high up in the hotel. Like he has a room, like I forget how high, but I think he mentions like it's like really high up. And he, I don't know, I just love he keeps going back to this if my friends could see me now, what would they think about me? Kind of like, would they think I'm this, what's the word? I don't know, this like rock guy that's like above everybody. But what I don't know. He keeps repeating that line. What would my friends, if my friends could see me now, what would they think about me? And I don't know. It's just a really cool lyrically. I said lyrically, it's just so cool. Just painting this picture of this guy in a hotel room, looking out at the window at the world, and how like I almost feel like it's almost like being a rock star isn't always glamorous. There's always these times where you're just in a hotel room and and other people are living life. I don't know. Lyrically, just amazing. I think. And just vocally and everything. It's just another one of the songs. Like I can't believe I've never heard the song before until now, and like this should have been like a huge hit to me. Like people should be talking about this song. It's so good.
That's nice. Yeah, that's a great song. I'd say that and another song which is on your list. It's kind of like
Yeah,
looking back, it's
yeah,
a song that I could imagine being on Village Green, like a ballady. Like this is like sounds like if there was a ballad on Village Green, like in my opinion, because the whole thought of, like, looking back to the past. That's another, like, I'm not gonna do an honorable mentions part of the video. Neither is Jason. We're just gonna do our top 25 songs, but where everything that Jason mentioned is an honorable mention.
Yeah.
So songs that didn't make
I
my
say I know you like this song quite a bit too. Yeah.
yeah. Love this song so much. Like top 100 songs at least for them. It's like there's so much good songs, but that's why we did top 25 and not top 10, because there's just so much to condense
Yeah.
in this big discography.
Yeah.
My number 7 is my favorite song from Face to Face, Session Man.
Good song.
Oh, I love this song. It's like, he's a session man, chord progression, top musician. He's not paid to think, just play.
Yeah.
Messed up. Such a messed up song. It's like, a session man.
And it was written by a specific person, wasn't it? Or
I think it was specifically for either Nicky Hopkins or Jimmy Page, one of those two.
I think
It was supposed to be a love letter to them,
yeah.
apparently, but to me, this has to be like the most backhanded song ever.
It is.
Like, he's not paid to think, just play. I'm like, that's so mean. It's kind of like saying that they're dumb to me.
Yeah.
I
Session Man.
It's such a kind of fun, catchy song, and it's a Baroque pop song. I'm a sucker for Baroque pop songs. As just as much as Breyer is to ballads, I'm a sucker for Baroque pop songs. I'm a sucker for the harpsichord.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. But yeah, this is a love this so much.
All right, number 6 is the title song to one of my favorite albums, that is Sleepwalker. The title of that album as well. And man, this is just one of the catchiest. It's not even my favorite song on the album. It's my second favorite song on this album, and it's here at number 6. That's how good this album is. But it's one of the catchiest songs, and the melodies, the overall verses are great. And then you get in that chorus, and I'm a sleepwalker, I'm a night stalker. And it's such a interesting song about, nighttime when you go to sleep like that, that's when I get up and creep or something like that. I think some of the lyrics. Everybody's asleep and he gets up and walks around and like walks around at night and looks at people. So it's a little creepy, but I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, but man, it's so catchy. It's so fun. Yeah, as soon as I heard the song, I was like, oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite Kinks songs. And that's why I was like, this is definitely one of my favorite Kinks albums, because got so many great stuff off of it. And this could be my number 1 song, but it's not. It's not quite there, but man, it's so good.
Yeah. My number 6, just barely missed my top 5, is a non-album song from the Something Else period, and that's gonna be Mr. Pleasant.
Okay.
Love this song so much. It starts off with this kind of heavy guitar riff. It's like bam 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 bam, and then it's like this really cool pop song afterwards. Like, oh, Mr. Pleasant, how are you today? Boom bum 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 bum. It's like this great pop song is like, oh, Mr. Pleasant is nice. Oh, Mr. Pleasant is good. This is I think I've showed this to you once, this song, but
I wonder if you showed it to me and I don't remember, but yeah.
I'll show it to you again after the stream. But this should have been on Something Else by the Kinks.
Okay.
But of course, back then they were very stingy with putting singles on albums, so this just remained as a non-album single, and the single went extremely unnoticed. That's why you didn't know this song is because this was a non-album single that didn't go anywhere, which is a shame, because it's a great single.
Yeah, it's pretty high on your list.
I mean, I freaking love this song. It's like, I love this song so much. But yeah, it's my number 6, Mr. Pleasant.
All right. Needless to say, these 5 songs are the best songs off their albums. I think think I've covered in 5 different albums. Yeah, and of course that helps when it's your favorite song off of an album that you really like. It goes up for me. It goes up my list quite a bit. I'm like, okay, there's a reason why I love this album is because these songs are so good. And number 5, my favorite song off of State of Confusion, I believe it is, and that is "Don't Forget to Dance." And this is the same album that has "Come Dancing" on it. So 2 songs about dancing are like my top 2 favorite songs off that album. Man, this song, this really, like, when I heard "Come Dancing," I thought, oh yeah, this is like the big hit. And then I heard this song, I'm like, this song should be the big hit. This song's so amazing. I was like, this should be one of their big hit songs. But I love it lyrically. Again, really good lyrics actually about, you know, it's one of those things when you talk about dancing. A lot of times you're talking about, you know, not waiting around for stuff to happen, but to, you know, enjoy life while you can, kind of type of song or whatever. And, you know, that kind of sentimentality, which I like. It's really cool lyrically and the whole idea behind it. But that chorus, oh my gosh, every time I get to that chorus, I was like, that's one of the best. Like, don't forget to dance. No, 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 don't forget to. Oh, beautiful. Just so beautiful, that whole chorus part. And the whole song itself, the verses and everything. I just love the overall melody, Ray's vocals here. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, just the instruments are so good. Every time I hear this, I'm like, oh my gosh, this really went up my list. Every time I heard it, I was like, yeah, this is all the way to my top 5. And I don't know how many people love the song as much as I do, but I'm like, this is underrated, maybe. I don't know if that's the right word, but for me, anyways, I think if you ever heard the song, you got to hear the song from the Kinks.
Yeah, this was one. It was one of the singles for that album. That and "Come Dancing," I feel like are extremely underrated singles. I mean, when you're thinking about late revival '80s stuff from '60s artists like "I Got My Mind Set on You" by George Harrison, "Start Me Up" by the Rolling Stones, "Kokomo" by the Beach Boys, "Come Dancing" and "Don't Forget to Dance" never mentioned, never remembered.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know this might be a controversial opinion, but I think these 2 revival Kinks songs are better than those songs I just mentioned.
Yeah.
Of course, in my opinion, I know, of course, people are gonna be like, "Oh, Start Me Up by the Rolling Stones is much better than Come Dancing."
Yeah.
I disagree. I'm a super big Rolling Stone fan, so take that as you will. My number 5, going back to the Village Green Preservation Society. We'll go Big Sky.
Oh, Big Sky. Okay.
I know this is one of your least favorites from that album. It is a slower song. It's such a cool song though. It's like this boom bum 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 bum. It's like
Yeah, you haven't really been mentioning my favorite songs except for Picture Book, I think, and I get starstruck. But
yeah, like I love the spoken word bit. Big Sky, look down on all the people looking up at the big sky. Everybody pushing one around. Big Sky feels sad when he sees the children scream and cry. But Big Sky is too big to let him down. And when he starts singing, "Big Sky's too big to cry. Big Sky's too high to see people like you and me." It's like, oh my god, this is like pop song. This is like this again. This is like pop perfection. This is the Kinks are a pop perfection band again. Yeah. Their best stuff is competing with the Who, Queen, ABBA. It's like their best stuff. It's like really like top quality stuff for me. And yeah, this is to me always been one of my favorite songs from them, and one of my favorite songs from the Village Green album. Yeah, I don't really have much more to say. Check it out if you have not already. Big Sky.
All right, number 4 is one of their big hits. I finally got back to kind of one of the most radio played songs, and that is Lola, which I'm sure, you know, someone like Nick is like, that song's overplayed. I'm like, I still love it. I know it's played a lot on the radio, and it's a typical.
I'm warming up to it.
It's a it's a typical song on the list. You know, everybody has Lola probably on their. I mean, I say not everybody, but most people probably have Lola somewhere on their list. It's the big hit, and me too. I can't get away from it. It's definitely one of the most. It's one of the songs I'm most familiar with, which helps. You know, with the song, but it's such a fun song, and I love the beginning that how it begins. Dun 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 dun. Dun. I went to the. I don't know, just how it starts is so cool. That's such a cool beginning to it. I love the. It just got this really unique style to the, you know, cola, coco, whatever, or cola, cola, whatever.
Yeah.
I love how it says a word and it spells it out. Oh, so cool! Like I'm like, man, it's so catchy. It's such a cool idea. And then Lola, 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 Lola. I don't know, just doing it that way. And I love the guitar in here. Man, it's a good rock song. Like when I come back to it, I'm like, man, this is just a really cool rock song. Love David Davis's work here when that guitar comes in, whatever, comes into those little guitar licks in between, as after like the first part. And I just love how it's like Ray Davis like singing the verse, really cool. And then it builds up, and then they all sing together, and you get the voices together. Sounds so good. I've never seen whatever. I can't remember the lyrics, but the ba ba bum ba 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 bum. I know da 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 da. I don't know. Just the way it goes from verse to chorus, transitions are so great, and it gets louder, and he gets more passionate, and soon enough, it's Lola, 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 and they're just singing all out, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Love the build up of the song. And then lyrically, it's such a fun song. It's painting this picture of this guy meeting this girl named Lola, like at a bar or whatever, and some weird lyrics about crushing my spine and all this stuff, and like what's going on with Lola? Something's weird, and you know, and again, lyrically, I think it's just I just love the way he rhymes words, and you know, I love the I think it's like girls will be boys and boys will be girls. It's a messed up something bum world, except for Lola, Lola. Like the way he says that, and then I'm a man, and so is Lola. Like how he goes into that.
Girls will
I know
be
what I
boys,
am,
boys will be girls.
I know what I am, and I'm a man, and so is Lola. The way he throws that out there at the end, you're like, what did he say? What is Lola? Okay, something's weird here. So yeah, I'm not the most something guy, but I
And
know what
most
I
physical guy, but when she squeezed me tight, I
should
almost ripped my spine for the Lola.
Lola. And it goes right back to that Lola, Lola. Oh, it's so good. It's so catchy. I think musically, I love, I said again, the guitar playing is so good from Dave Davis. And just, yeah, it's a big hit for a reason. It's just it's a great song. It's that's why it's in my top five.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a great song. It's a great song. Lola, la 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 Lola has like one of the most recognizable riffs too. Bum
Yeah.
bum 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 bum.
Um,
Well, you mentioned this way back in the video. Well, for me, this song did make my top 10. Not only that, but it made my top 5. Shangri-La
oh,
from
okay.
Red Thriller. Yeah.
Shangri.
Shangri-La. Shangri-La. Man, this is. It starts off slow. And it's like this slow song, and then it builds up, and it's another one of they're this big song, and it's like I have found paradise. It's like Shangri-La, Shangri-La. I mean, ELO made a great Shangri-La song too. It's like
No.
can't go wrong with Shangri-La, I
I
guess. Man.
know.
Yeah, this is a love this song so much.
Great.
This is definitely one of their most underrated songs for me. Yeah, you gotta check the song out if you have not. Everyone, whoever's watching.
Yeah. Anybody watching this?
Yeah, it's my number 4.
All right, number 3. This is another kind of deep cut song. I feel like But it was my favorite song off of Sleepwalker. It's such a great pop song that is Life Goes On. Oh my gosh. So good. Sleepwalker is so good. And I was like, how could anything beat that? And then this song came on. I was like, I think this is even better than Sleepwalker. And also, and Sleepwalker was number 6 on my list. And then this came on, and it's just, oh man, again, this is like my favorite style almost of like the Kinks of this. I love their pop style, and this album was such a great. I mean, Sleepwalker has some great rock stuff and great pop stuff, and even like one really good ballad on it. It has a little bit of everything, but everything works so well. And I just love that chorus. Life goes on and on and on. It's a really positive feeling song, which I like. Um, like somewhat. I mean, I think it's kind of about bad things happening, but life goes on. So I guess there's almost a negative side to it, but overall, it's just super catchy. Again, just great writing from Ray Davis, and just the overall production is so good.
Well, that's a great song. My number 3, maybe my top 3, Animal Farm from Village Green Preservation Society. This is my second favorite song from this album. This opens up side 2, and man, this gets me every time. This world is big and wild and half insane. Take me where real animals are playing. Just an early old shack where the hound dogs bark that we called our home. I want to be back there among the cats and dogs and the pigs and the goats on Animal Farm, my animal home. And it's like this got this lush production. It's very Pet Sounds esque. It sounds like it sounds like a song that would be on Pet Sounds. Quite literally, with the not because there's animals, but the production. It sounds like something Brian Wilson would do. And again, this is like pop perfection. This is a this song gets me every time. This is one of the best songs ever. Period. Now, these last 3 songs in my top 3 are not only just their best songs. It's like some of the best music you'll ever get. Period. These next 3 songs on my list, and
Yeah.
getting to be right in the heart here. This song, and yeah, I love the song so much. Number 3, Animal Farm. I also made a book about it back then about communist Russia.
Orson Welles. Or whatever. Is Orson Welles? Something like that. Not Orson Welles. I said that wrong. I forget now the guy's name. Is it?
I think I know what you're talking about.
George Orwell. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, George Orwell. Yeah, number 2, this song. Oh my gosh. When I first heard the song on this album, I was so I don't know what's the word.
Starship.
Yeah, I was gonna say Star Trek, but I don't know if that's the right word. Yeah, just made an instant impact on me. Like I was so amazed, and my favorite song off of Everybody Knows This Showbiz, and that is Celluloid Heroes. And yeah, blown away is the word I was gonna say. When I heard the song, I was so blown away, like how good it is. And it came so close to. I really considered it to be number 1. It came very close. I definitely, when I heard the song, I thought, oh, this song is like, yeah, going to be close to number 1. This is gonna compete. I knew this song would compete for number 1 when I first heard it. I was like, I can't imagine hearing anything much better than this song. Again, it's not like a huge hit song. It should be. It should be. I'm maybe if you're a Kinks fan, maybe Kinks.
Oh yeah, amongst the fans, it's like definitely the fan favorite. And
okay, good, because
I had a feeling you were gonna like this one because this is a song that I love so much as well.
yeah, and it's another just amazing ballad. Piano, a lot of piano in here. And it's got one of the great, like the chorus is so amazing. When you get that chorus, you're like, oh my gosh, it's so good. Because everything, the verses are great, everything. And I'm blanking now on the chorus, but I was like, I know I love the chorus.
Up Boulevard.
What's that?
I know something somewhere around those as a like, where it
Oh,
comes down to Boulevard.
on Hollywood Boulevard. Yeah, that's it. Um, yeah, it's a great. Yeah, it's one of those great courses when you get to it. Super catchy. Um, I think it's their best. I think it's his best lyrical song. Like I said, lyrically, I absolutely love the song so much because it's all about uh, walking down. You know, in Hollywood, there's the streets has the names of different Hollywood, stars from the past. And so I've never been there, but I always would love to go. Um, Seeing the names of all this, they have their star or whatever, and it's about that going across and coming across all these different names that he comes across. So it's kind of a great homage to, which I love because I'm a big fan of movies as well, and I love the kind of homage to stars. I think is really cool about the song. He mentions them by name and kind of gives a little bit of a almost description of, like, uh, and he says like, yeah, when you walk across Hollywood Boulevard, some of them are famous, some of them you never heard of. Oh, I just love the lyrics of it. But he talks about like, if you step on this person, and I don't know, and it's a lot of like almost these callbacks to the stars themselves. I don't know how to say it, but um, he talks about like Greta Garbo uh, and she just wants to be alone, which is a famous line that she said in a movie. That's like her famous line is "I want to be alone," uh, back in the 30s, and so he uses that there, and he talks about if you walk on this person. Now I'm forgetting. I wish if I had the lyrics in front of me, I would be better. But if you walk on so and so, they'll still look good and they'll still be in style. Or if you put garbage, that's right. It's like even if you throw garbage on George, whatever, he'll still look in style. And uh, don't step on Barry Lugosa, or you might get bit because he played Dracula. Bela Lugosa. So it was a cool reference to Bela Lugosa being in Dracula, saying, "Don't step on this one; he might bite you or something." And don't step on Marilyn Monroe because she's fragile or something like that, which is a cool callback to, Marilyn Monroe had a very, uh, tragic past, and kind of pointing towards Marilyn Monroe. And I wish I had the lyrics in front of me. The lyrics are so good. And how I love how he name calls all these different stars and their big movie roles. I don't know. So yeah, lyrically, great. Yeah, everything. The chorus, the verses, the melodies, Ray Davis. It's just a perfect Kinks song for me.
Yeah, I agree. This is again just to show how great the song, how great they are. It's like it doesn't even crack my top 25.
I know it wasn't even your top 25. I was like, oh man.
It's like well, it's a top 50 songs for me at least though. It's really good. My number two is gonna be my favorite song from Village Green Preservation Society. It's gonna be Village Green, not the
Okay.
title track, but the the song after Animal Farm. It's like this really cool Baroque song out in the country, far from all the soot and noise of the city. There's a village green. Oh, it's been a long time. It's like, oh, this is a great song. It's like basically a song about like, oh, I lived in this village green. I had a girlfriend. We used to sit under an oak tree basically, and her name was Daisy. And I end up leaving it because I'm famous, but then I come back. It's a tourist. It's like a tourist trap. Daisy's married to a guy who owns a grocery store. It's like a lot of change. It's like it's like easily the best song on the album because it's like it's kind of like going back to your home state after not living there for so long. It's like wow, I used to live here. I grew up here, and now everyone's going here for a tour. Like tourists are coming here. It's like it's crazy. It's like wow, a lot has changed. I really have nothing more to say. This is like a perfect Baroque song. Lyrics are perfect, and yeah, I had to put the song on the list. And I believe this is Scott's favorite song on the album too. So I agree with Scott. Best song on the album. Village Green. Second favorite Kinks song.
All right. I think I know what your number one is. I won't say what it is, but I think it's a Dave Davis song. That's all I'm going to say. We'll see if I'm right. All right. Number one for me is the typical, maybe typical number one for them.
Not really. The typical is like You Really Got Me and Lola.
Okay. But I can't imagine anybody not loving this song that listens to the Kinks. And you mentioned it. We're both having our top 10. And that is Waterloo Sunset, number one.
Has to be in your top 10.
You had it number 10, so so we agree it's top 10 song. And yeah, this funny when I was, I guess going back, like the only songs I really knew growing up was You Really Got Me, All Day and All Night, and Lola. Those are the three like big radio songs that I remember. And then I think it was on Reactions to Classics, I want to say, I may be wrong, they listened to the song, I think, or something, and I never heard the song, and they played Waterloo Sunset, and I remember like going, I've never heard the song before and didn't have any expectations, and then I heard it and I was like, this song's amazing. Like this, I was like, this might be my favorite song. But I haven't heard a lot of Kinks songs, but at the time I was like, I think I like this better than all the other songs I heard. And yeah, I just came kind of almost, I don't want to say obsessed, but as soon as I heard the song, I went to Spotify and just listened to the song like on repeat. Like I kept listening to it going, I don't know, it's just one of those songs that really got to me. That I was like, I can't get enough of this song. It's so cool. I don't know. It's again, I'm trying to figure out why do I love this song so much. It's just the overall vibe of it. The overall sound of it is so cool. And all that. And yeah, so I kind of knew this was like my favorite song when we were going through the Kinks. I knew this was my favorite song, but of course I wanted to leave it open. I wanted to give all the other songs a chance. Like I said, like Celluloid Heroes, I considered a number one because I didn't want to just go, oh, Waterloo Sunset's my number one. I'm not going to consider anything else. I wanted to keep it competition. And so I was listening to these songs on Spotify, and I came away just going, nope, Waterloo Sunset's still my number one. It's the champ. Nobody can beat this song still. It's just so amazing. Like you said, I think it's their best harmonies. And maybe that's what puts it number one for me. What makes it up the top is the harmonies are so good. In fact, when I was listening to this recently, when I was putting the list together, this is my thoughts, is that you could put this on Pet Sounds, and to me, it would be a Beach Boys. Like, I would love to hear the Beach Boys do the song, is my thought. I think if they covered the song on like Pet Sounds, it would be one of my favorite songs on Pet Sounds, which is one of my favorite albums. I don't know, it just fits so well with that. Yeah, like I said, the whole vibe and the harmonies, and I said, oh, and I love the guitar, that bum 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 bum. Just overall tone of that guitar and the sound when that hits, I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's so good. And just, I don't know, the overall melody of Waterloo Suns, it's like almost this kind of laid back pop song. Something in paradise. Yeah, and like you said, when you get to that sha-la-la, every day I look outside my window, whatever, sha-la-la. Oh, that part, I love. That's like one of my favorite parts of the whole song is when they hit that part, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so good. And then, yeah, you got that Waterloo Sunset, side. Oh my gosh, when they go into that Waterloo Sunset kind of rounds with the background singers and the high notes, the harmonies, and it goes right back into that guitar, bum 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 bum. Oh, it's just the perfect laid back pop song of all time.
I'm glad that's your number one. That's a great song. And I just remember the names, Terry and Julie. They say that in the song. Terry meets Julie.
Terry meets Julie. Bum, 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 bum.
Well, you guessed correctly. It's a Dave Davis song, and it's from the same exact album. So we both agreed this album has their song. My number one is gonna be "Death of a Clown."
That was my guess. Death of a Clown.
Death of a Clown, man. Death of a Clown. It's like this comes after David Watts. It's like when I first heard this album, like you can't beat David Watts. Like this is the song to beat, and then Death of a Clown comes. It's like whoa, it's like, and it's a Dave Davies sung and written song. It's like beforehand he didn't write anything. He didn't. Well, he started to write on King Controversy, but he wasn't really writing stuff in the first two albums. And oh my gosh, this is like, I mean, originally before we went into the series, Village Green was like the undecided. This was like the best song on their best song, Village Green. But then Death of a Clown, I listened to it more and more, and lyrically, it's perfect. My makeup is dry and it cracks around my chin. I'm drowning my sorrows in whiskey and gin.
Yeah.
The lion tamer's whip doesn't crack anymore. The lions, they won't bite and tigers won't roar.
Mm.
It's like, it's like, like Ray Davies is great writing, and this is like something I expect Ray to write, not Dave.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this, and the chorus too is like la ba bum 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 ba ba ba. Let's all drink to the death of a clown. It's like, and then it's like the old fortune teller lie dead on the floor. Nobody needs fortunes told anymore. And the trainer of insects is crouched on his knee and frantically looking for a runaway flea. It's like la 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 la. Let's all drink to the death of a clown.
It's such a weird concept idea. Yeah. It
You're like
works.
worked so well, and oh my gosh,
Like they're a traveling circus or something. And yeah.
I
Like
don't know. Like
about that.
Dave Davies put this as a single, and it did pretty well. And this was the song that, like, right, Dave Davies was actually considering leaving the Kinks. He was considering leaving them, and
Good solo. Yeah.
yeah, if he would have wrote songs the level of at least almost as good as this song, I'd say he would have had one hell of a solo career. Yeah, this is, to me, this song hits me, and chorus, perfect chorus, really good harmonies, and lyrically, it's like, gosh, like I would have never expected Dave Davies to write these lyrics. Like, this is something, like I said, Dave Davies isn't really the smart one of the two lyrically, but
Yeah. Yeah.
here we are now. His song is number one on my list just for how good it is, and definitely check it out if you have not. This is pop perfection, like I said before. Yeah, it's my number one. Now we finished our top 25. You have
Yeah.
any final thoughts before we end the video, Jason?
Yeah, I don't know. I think definitely if you haven't listened to the Kinks stuff, I think definitely check out. Uh, Gosh, I don't know even where to start. It's like they said, that early pop period, and then skip the theatrical period and go into their revival period. There's some great stuff in that period as well. Definitely a lot of stuff to check out. I guess we'll get more into that when we get to our albums, but definitely a band. I'm gonna do a deep dive at some point on my channel because this is definitely one of those bands. I think if you haven't got into, you definitely need to get into.
Yeah, it's a good way of putting it. Yeah, I'm excited to hear. I'm guessing it's going to be two parts for the Kinks.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a lot of stuff to cover.
2, 3 parts probably.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm looking forward to watching that series. Of course, 30th. Hopefully, we'll get to our Kinks ranking. Rank all the albums from worst to best. Really, they really were. They really. My last thoughts. They really were something else. Something else by the Kinks. They were something special. They
Yeah.
they they really left their mark in music history as one of the finest rock pop bands ever. Like, ignore that theatrical period. Don't ever get near it. But rather than that, they're really just one of the all time greats. when people think best British invasion bands, they think Who, Rolling
Yeah.
Stones, Beatles, but they never pay attention to the Kinks. They're always looked at as second grade, second bottom, like not second bottom, but like they always seem like there's the S tier for a lot of people, then there's the A tier, which a lot of people would consider the Kinks, but to me, they're an S tier band. They're one of the all-time greats, and I'm glad we were able to do this series. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So long.